£6 billion is to be spent on local road repairs across England have been announced by the government. The money was originally allocated to the problem over a year ago. Ministers say it should fix about 18 million potholes. Our transport correspondent Richard Westcott reports.
We'd be lost without our roads. Most people travel by car. Most of the things we buy come by lorry. Yet years of foul weather have left local roads plagued by potholes. Last year, the government promised nearly £6 billion to help clear the maintenance backlog. Today, it's laying out where that money will be spent, though most of it won't arrive until after the general election. You're spending money for the next 5 years. You might not be in power, so what guarantee is there that it gets spent?
Well, I very much believe we will be in power, but leave that to one side. Everybody accepts that local authorities need to know the money they're getting forward, and I would hope that any government would follow through on this, because it's absolutely essential that we maintain the roads.
As well as the bigger overall budget, individual councils can win extra cash if they show that they're good at mending roads, like here in Northampton, which has benefited in the past. The reason Northamptonshire has been given extra money is because they've changed the way they fix potholes. So rather than do those temporary repairs, which might last a couple of weeks, they resurface the whole road. So in theory, this should last 10 years. Labour says more than 2,000 extra miles of road now needs mending since the coalition came to power, while many councils argue this money's not enough to repair the damage from years of underfunding. Richard Westcott, BBC News, Northampton.
Mark Morell is a road safety campaigner. He's also known as Mr. Pothole for the work he's done to reduce the number of them on our roads. And you've been looking into this. So what, I mean, obviously you're pleased that the money's available. Is it going to be properly spent?
Well, hopefully. I mean, the idea of preventative maintenance is far better than repairing potholes. I mean, 95% of potholes can be eradicated with a proper investment plan and proper maintenance. I mean, the £6 billion sounds a lot to the normal person, but let's spread over the Parliament, which, considering, if we put it in context, there's a backlog of just carriageway works across England and Wales of £12 billion, and last year the actual network deteriorated by £1.5 billion. Then obviously what they're putting in there should be welcomed, but there's nowhere near going to tackle the problem at the root cause.
But you can see where they're coming from. They get a phone call from someone, there's a big pothole somewhere. They can either nip out, fix it quickly, cheaply, or repair the whole road. I mean, you can see why the temptation is just to go for the quick fix.
I mean, yeah, quick fix, because unfortunately there has been cyclists killed as a result of potholes. So an emergency repair is great and it has its place, and there's various techniques, but what's needed is a long-term investment plan. The recognition by assurities of income from government to local councils to put their maintenance programmes at least forward and know they've got some security. So I hope that whoever gets in power in the election continues that, but that's only the start. It needs to be on a massive scale. I mean, you need to do it for sort of 10 to 15 years with substantially more money, and then see the benefits. It's been a case where councils and government over the years have neglected it. I mean, if you look at the RAC's figure, 66% of drivers feel that local roads have been neglected, and in fact that's borne out by almost my research and observations and the many people that contact me.
Yeah, it does get people going, doesn't it, this whole issue of potholes, but councils have other priorities as well, schools, housing, lots of things on their list of priorities. Where do you think potholes come in that list?
I mean, it's very difficult for councils, because if you use Northampton as an example, they got an extra £3.2 million in the pothole challenge this year. Yet they had a £1 million cut because of social care costs on their own budgets. So the many roads that were going to be resurfaced under their own financial powers have now been shelved until next year. And now they've got a 12% reduction in their allocation from government. So, that pot's going to get less. I mean, that's where I think government need to step up to the plate. And the indications are they recognise it, but not nearly enough to tackle the actual work. I keep hearing that there's no money to do it, but I mean, one of the examples is HS2 is going to cost tens of billions of pounds, which a few people use. 90% of us use our roads, and it's not only roads, it's footpaths, road markings, the old infrastructure, drainage is not being done.
Are you happy to be called Mr. Pothole?
My attitude is call me what you like as long as you fix the roads. I mean, the media wanted a name, and that's fine. I mean, that started off, and it's easy for people to recognise, and I'm happy to do that as long as I can put pressure. And I use social media quite a bit, and my plea is to people to make sure you report them, and social media with pictures does work, and using smart systems of reporting them rather than some of the archaic systems council's got. You know, I got involved with a group called a company called Street Repairs that's got an app. The RAC now use that as well. Plus, one of the MPs has actually jumped on board, Jake Berry, to use the app for his community to actually use it, because we need smart technology will drive more performance because people don't necessarily or can hide those things.
Well, Mark, it's very good to join us. Mark, a happy Christmas to you as well.
And Merry Christmas to you too.
Thanks very much, Mark Roller.